Shalom, shalom. Let's give all praises, fear, glory, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Shalom to you, true, sincere warriors, sincere defenders of the gospel, true followers of Yahushai, believers. And Lord willing, this is edifying. And I want to get a couple precepts, but first, I want to get into the story of Elijah being taken up to heaven in 2 Kings chapter 2. Verse 1 says, When the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven in a whirlwind, Elijah and Elisha were on their way from Gilgal. Elijah said to Elisha, Stay here. The Lord had sent me to Bethel. But Elisha said, As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you. So they went down to Bethel. The company of the prophets at Bethel came out to Elisha and asked, Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today? Yes, I know, Elisha said. So be quiet. Then Elijah said to him, Stay here, Elisha. The Lord has sent me to Jericho. And he replied, As surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, I will not leave you. So they went to Jericho. The company of the prophets at Jericho went up to Elisha and asked him, Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today? Yes, I know, he replied. So be quiet. Then Elijah said to him, Stay here. The Lord has sent me to the Jordan. And he replied, As surely as the Lord lives, as you live, and as you live, I will not leave you. So the two of them walked on. 50 men from the company of the prophets went and stood at a distance, facing the place where Elijah and Elisha had stopped at the Jordan. Elijah took his cloak, rolled it up, and struck the water with it. The water divided to the right and to the left, and the two of them crossed over on dry ground. And before I continue reading, we see that Elijah kept telling Elisha to stay put, you know, but Elisha kept following him because he knew that he was with the Lord. You know, he was following the Lord ultimately. He wanted more of the Spirit, and he knew that Elijah was with Yahushua, and so when you look at the other prophets of each town, each city, they kept asking Elisha, if he knew that that his master, or he basically his teacher in the flesh, which was Elijah, was gonna be taken up to heaven by Yahushua. And but the crazy thing is that these other men that kept asking questions, they were just trying to see if Elijah was scared or nervous or in fear or sad, or but they never seek Yahushua. They never really followed after them too. They stayed put because they had something pulling them. They had something not allowing them to actually uh, uh, go through that journey. Yeah, it was only those two that finished that journey, you know. And when I just read it right here, so the company of the prophets at Jericho went up to Elijah and asked him, "Do you know what the Lord is going to take your master? Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today?" They kept asking that in every city, and In the last city, it says 50 men from the company of the prophets went and stood at his distance. You see, so the multitude that call themselves prophets, they're not really prophets because they're distant from the true prophets. You see, the true prophets in this story is Elijah and Elijah. Elisha and Elijah. The name sounds super familiar. But those are the only two prophets because they went where Yahushua told them to go. Let me continue reading verse 9. When they had crossed, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you? Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." Elisha replied, "You have asked a difficult thing," Elijah said. "Yet if you see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours. Otherwise, it will not." As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them. And Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha saw this and cried out, "My father, my father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel." And Elisha saw him no more. Then he took hold of his garment and tore it into two. Verse 13, Elisha then picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. He took the cloak that had fallen from Elijah and struck the water with it. "Where now is the Lord, the power of Elijah?" he asked. When he struck the water, it divided to the right and to the left, and he crossed over. So we see that the what Elisha asked, it was given to him because he followed Elijah, and Elijah was following Yahushua. You see, so if you're following Yahushua, you're going to receive power, man. You're gonna receive what the multitude is lacking. You know, the 50 prophets that stay at a distance. You know, that's the multitude of the dead. That's the graveyard, man. You want to stay away from that. You want to be where a few is, the narrow path. It says verse 15, the company of the prophets from Jericho who were watching said, "The spirit of Elijah is resting on Elisha." And they went to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. See that? See, that's heavy, man. They only care about what they can see, and to worship men. It, because ultimately the power that they saw that was transferred from Elijah to Elisha, that's the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. That's not, that doesn't belong to us. It's given to us. Verse 15 says, verse 16 says, "Look," they said, "we, your servants, have 50 able men. Let them go and look for your master. Perhaps the Spirit of the Lord has picked him up and set him down on some mountain or in some valley." "No," Elisha replied, "do not send them." But they persisted until he was too embarrassed to refuse. So he said, "Send them." And they sent 50 men to search for 3 days, but did not find him. When they returned to Elisha, who was staying in Jericho, he said to them, "Didn't I tell you not to go?" And the reason why these false prophets, I'll call them false prophets because again, they stand at a distance, and now you see them, you know, being persistent in looking for Elijah when he was taken up to heaven, because they don't believe in these things. They don't believe in the kingdom of heaven. They don't believe in heaven. They don't believe in this place falling down. They thought that the chariots of Yahweh Shemashai picked up Elijah and just dropped him off at a local spot, because they think that the things of Yahweh Shai are of this world when it's not. There's no way that Yahweh Shai works through the wonders and power of this world, because the world is trash. This world does not have power, man. All this world have is death. So let me get a couple more precepts here from the chapter. But yeah, when I read that today, I because that's why you gotta always like read again these little stories and parables and precepts, because now the more you read, the more you see what these false prophets or how they thought, and how they actually saw Yahushai in the power of Yahushai. They didn't really see the power of Yahushai as you have as something real. They thought the power of Yahushai was fake like them. So let me get First Peter chapter 2 in verse 9. It states, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that they should that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." So Yahushua, he said, many are called, but few are chosen. You see? So if you're part of that chosen generation, which is a few, is not all Israel, then that means that you're holy. You're the true royal priesthood. You're peculiar, meaning you're separated from the multitude. Now it might feel, like the multitude have the advantage because they have all the views, all the fame, all the subscribers, money, respected persons. It may look like they have the upper hand, but in the spirit, the poor, the ones that are lowly, they're the ones that we're the ones that have the upper hand. Why? Because Yahushai deals with the ones that are lowly, not the ones that are famous. Let me actually get that real quick. Now I'll close it with that. It's a perfect precept to end it with, because the Lord said, basically that we are blessed if you're lowly, poor, and so on. It's in Matthew 5. Right. All right. Matthew 5 and verse. Let me read verse 3. It says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." So if you're hungry and thirsty for righteousness, for justice, you're going to be filled, because that's what the Lord is bringing. The Lord is bringing justice. He's bringing righteousness. He's bringing judgment to this place. So if you have clean hands Everything's gonna work in your favor. Verse 7, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see power. Yahweh Shai. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of power. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So nothing is new under the sun. Nothing is new under the sun. So make sure that you are following the steps of Yahweh Shai, and the, basically the blueprint, the map towards salvation. And Salakia, if it's breaking down, let me see. I don't know if brothers can hear me. Let's see. Hey, shalom, shalom. Let me get some precepts here. Hey, Yahweh Bashem Moshe Brakatam. This is Ephesians 3 and verse 7. Whereof I was made a minister according to the gift of the grace of power given unto me by the effectual working of his power. Right, the effectual working of his power. So that means that if you're on the path of Yahweh Shai, you're following that blueprint, that the instructions of Yahweh Shai, then that means you're profiting. The Lord is making sure that you profit out of it because you're doing it correctly, and that means that you're receiving power. That's the true profit of it. Obtaining the power, the effect, like the brother just posted here, effectual working of his power. So if you are doing it deceitfully, you're not. You're basically doing it in vain. The Lord is not giving you anything for that, because the Lord is very picky. He doesn't just he doesn't accept any sacrifice. He has to see that you're doing it sincerely. It has to be a clean sacrifice. Verse 17, Ephesians 3:17, that Yahushai may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height, and to know the love of Yahushai, which passeth knowledge, that ye might be filled with all the fullness of power. In verse 18 again, it said you have comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth, the length, and the depth and the height. And that means you gotta go deep into the scriptures. You really gotta ground yourself, ground your roots deep, so you're not so the ways of the wicked in the world won't be able to move you. You gotta grasp down deep. You gotta reach deep onto the main source of this truth, which ultimately is the lessons and teachings of Yahweh Shai, not of men, not of the world. And the true prophets are going to continue to say that and warn our people about the false prophets. Stay away from the false prophets. And we're going to continue elaborating and explaining the big difference between the teachings of men and the teachings of Yahweh Shai. The teachings of Yahweh Shai was about you cleansing your ways, becoming the new creature, being reborn again by repenting and being born in the scriptures, not in the world, but in the scriptures, and understanding the mindset that Yahushai was giving us. And if you don't, you're gonna continue in the path of men. You're gonna continue in the teachings of the world, man. And the teachings of the world, just to end it in this note, the teachings of the world prepares you to death. It makes your mind more acceptable to receive death. Oh, take this jab, take this, do this, wear that, don't go out, like the lockdown. And then they do, you know do drugs. Don't worry about this. We'll worry about your bills. They just make you closer unto death. They're not, the world and the men that are comfortable in this place, they're not going to teach you how to let go of the world. They're not going to teach you, the false prophets are not going to teach you how to care more of the lessons of Yahushua. They're just not, because they have a different agenda. So with that, continue in the the blueprint of Yahushua. Find the true lessons of Yahushua, which is in the book. All you have to do is just open it, read, pray that you understand and comprehend. And with that, let's give all praises, fear, and glory and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. Bless you, brothers. Continue praying for one another. And Shalom. Ababa Ball.